That's where I was gonna camp. Like, that's an established campsite. My backpack is right there.
You don't even understand. It's just like echoing off this chamber. Hello? This room always creeps me out. This was like their sunroom.
Real encounters rarely begin with violence. They begin with repetition, silence, and things that don't add up. A lone hiker keeps meeting the same man again and again on a remote forest trail, while a van traveler wakes to deliberate knocks placed exactly where she sleeps. When a threat doesn't chase you, but studies you instead, how do you know when it's already time to leave? A lone backpacker heads on to the Wild Azalea Trail, far inside Louisiana's Catahoula National Forest. Known as one of the region's most beautiful routes, it seems ideal for a quiet overnight hike, and the flowering azaleas and constant birdsong suggest a calming escape from routine. She arrives at the trail entrance early, parks in the marked area, and starts organizing her supplies. That is when she spots a man, by himself, holding only a water bottle. He passes by without looking at her, and then vanishes back along the path. Without much concern, she sets off walking. Before long, the same man appears again behind her on the trail.
Getting out, started on the trail now. It's pretty quiet out here. It's lovely with the birds singing, and every now and then the wind comes through. When I was still getting ready at the trailhead, I encountered 3 young men who are out backpacking on this trail as well, and they let me know that a couple of them had done this trail before.
Still alone, still without any pack, only the same bottle in hand. He greets her briefly and continues ahead. Yet the encounter leaves her uneasy. By the time she reaches the 3rd mile marker, she realizes she has crossed paths with him 4 times. First near her parked car, then coming up behind her, later farther along the trail, and once more close to a junction where he seemed to be going through the trunk of his own car, possibly finally collecting gear. The pattern feels wrong.
You ever just come across somebody and the energy is just off? That is what's been happening to me a little bit today. I'm about 3 miles in and I found this spot that I would really love to camp. But just as I was getting here, I saw somebody that I've seen twice already today. The first time I saw him, he only had a water bottle in his hand, no backpack or anything. And I saw him at the trailhead where I parked my car as I was still pulling things out of my car. And at that point, as soon as he saw me, he sort of turned around and headed back onto the trail. I've seen him 4 times, I just realized. And then I saw him as I was hiking. I'd started with my pack up the trail, and he came from behind me, still with just the water bottle. And I didn't hear him at first, but it kind of startled me a little bit. So I moved over to let him go past, and that time was the first time I said, "Oh, hello." And he just said, "Hi." The next time I saw him, he was at a crossroads, and it looked like he was loading things into his car to leave. But I guess he was pulling a backpack out, because even though I didn't say anything to him at that point.
Later, while searching for a campsite, she finds an open area near a small bridge. Another location just off the path feels safer. As she approaches it, she notices something out of place: a trail camera, partly concealed. Oddly, it is not pointed at animal tracks, but straight at the spot where her backpack now rests. The meaning hits her instantly. Someone had positioned the camera to watch her chosen campsite. With no other hikers around and the strange man still on her mind, her instincts tell her to go.
But I looked over and I saw this area here, the clearing, and I thought, you know what, that's a bit more hidden from trail. I might feel more comfortable and secure over there, so I came over. Why is there a trail cam pointing to that campsite? I don't really know how those things work. Maybe it's not visible on the camera, but like, what else is it pointing at? Okay. What the heck? Putting my camera right behind. My backpack is right there. That's where I was going to camp. Like, that's an established campsite. Looks like this one is too. But what the heck is going on here? First, weird energy. Second, a trail cam pointed at a campsite. Oh, I think 1 strike, 2 strike. I gotta get out of here before 3 strikes and I'm out.
While heading back, she remembers that the entrance to the hidden site was partly blocked by fallen trees, possibly meant to discourage others. The last warning sign? A group of men in identical red shirts she passed earlier, one of whom may have been the same man she noticed near her vehicle. She decides not to stay. She gathers her belongings, returns to her car, and drives away without hesitation.
Is it just me? Or is that weird? Trail cam. Right there. Camp. Right there. I'm standing at my pack and I am looking, and I cannot for the life of me see it over there. I mean, camo, right? Very effective. Moved around, I've come up here. Like, where? I went from campsite 1 over to campsite 2, just kind of an exploratory thing. And the reason it actually took me a little while to decide to go over there is because there were like clear obstructions in the path, logs covering the path. A lot of time that might be set up by Forest Service to say like, this is not a trail, don't go down here. I just felt like I needed to go explore it. There was poison ivy I had to avoid. It's not too dense where I couldn't avoid it. And yeah, I had to go over a couple of logs and stuff like that. But it's almost like they don't want somebody going over there, right? But is it because they don't want somebody to discover the camera? It doesn't feel scary. Like, I'm not scared. I'm actually angry because it feels violating. It feels like a threat in that way where it's...
The repeated sightings, the absence of hiking equipment, and the camera's placement suggest more than chance. Could the man have been monitoring her path? Did he notice her car and trail her from a distance? Was this only a chain of odd moments, or did she avoid something far worse? What would you have done in her situation? Share your thoughts in the comments. Lisa, who runs the YouTube channel Asleep 5 Decades, records her full-time solo life traveling and living off-grid in a camper van. Her videos usually focus on the calm side of van life: open roads, quiet mornings, and independent camping. But one night unfolded into the exact kind of situation most van dwellers dread. At about 4 a.m., Lisa was abruptly awakened, not by an animal outside, but by a sharp knock right beside her head on the thin wall of the van. It was intentional, clearly human, and deeply alarming.
Somebody's back here again. I hear footprints. Hello? How can I help you? It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. Who are you?
She went still. There had been no warning and no explanation, only the sudden realization that someone was standing right outside her vehicle. She called out to ask who was there. There was no reply. Then the knock came again, stronger, nearer.
It's now 4:57, but at 4:37, so like 20 minutes ago, I was in a dead sleep, and I was woken from a knock, like right where my head is, ironically. So I was like frozen. I looked at the time, and it was very strange to me, like who would be knocking on the van at 4:30 in the morning. So by the second knock, I believe it was second, could be the third knock, and they would knock 3 times every time. I just mustered hello and no answer. The person was on a bike, like a pedal bike, like a 10-speed bike, a mountain bike or something, and they were up the drive. And so I just came and lied back down and trying to register what the hell just happened, who was that, what did they want, what were their intentions, and all I could think about is they were probably planning on robbing.
The silence returned until she heard movement, footsteps traveling around the van. After a while, she slowly worked her way toward the front to check outside. Far off, she noticed a car with its headlights on, running, backing down the drive. It seemed likely it had been there the entire time, watching. Later, it happened again. Another circle around the van. This time, she saw a figure moving on foot, slipping behind a nearby tree, then heading toward the same vehicle she had noticed earlier. The car reversed away once more. No exchange, no explanation. And now, whoever it was knew she was inside.
So I just kind of like went back to sleep, or lied back down, went back to bed, I should say. And about 15 minutes later, I hear it again, like a knock on the side of my van again. How can I help you? And they say, I got a question for you. And I said, it's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. And so I quietly got up and I went to the front and I peeked out and parked way up on the drive. All I could see is like headlights, and then they backed out and went and left. So I'm not feeling so safe. You know, I just don't even know what to make of it. Like, what were they thinking? I do sleep with this beside my bed, and I never thought that I would have to pull it out or grab it, and I did. I hear footprints. Hear that? Yeah, somebody was just here again 3 times now.
They had knocked exactly where her bed was positioned. Not on the doors, not on the panels, but where she slept. They knew. Lisa stayed inside and remained alert. She never went back to sleep.
I seen them walking, and they hid behind the big tree there, and then they went to a car, the same car that was here earlier. Well, that was back, and then it backed away and left again 3 times in one night. This time, they didn't knock, though. They were just walking around. I could hear them walking around the van. But I'm not feeling so safe. Like, I'm just feeling like, I don't know.
When daylight finally came, she stepped outside and saw the evidence clearly. Fresh footprints in the dirt around her van, some right by the doors. They were not hers, and they had not simply walked past. They had moved around the vehicle, stopped, waited. More oddly, 2 of her water bottles had been knocked over, possibly to make noise or draw her outside. Some viewers suggested it may have begun as an attempted theft, someone checking for valuables. But the repeated returns, the circling pattern, and the moment they realized a woman was inside changed the meaning. The knocking did not stop after that discovery. It escalated. Lisa was unharmed. She followed her instincts, kept calm, and avoided any contact. Still, the feeling of being targeted in the dark while sleeping in a vehicle is not easy to forget. In a lifestyle built around isolation and freedom, the incident served as a stark reminder that not every threat comes from the wilderness. Sometimes, the real danger is the person who finds you when you are completely alone.
As you can see, look at the footprints though. Look at that. That's massive. See that? Like, this worries me. Like, oh my God. Yeah, this has me really concerned. Nothing's here because it's all melted already, but yeah. So, oh, here we go. Here's a couple right here, there, and there. Here's, I'll put There's my print again. Okay. There. I think they obviously knew that I was in there because of where they knocked. Like they didn't knock on the passenger door, the driver's door. They knocked like by the rear well. So they know, or he knew, that I was living in there. So I feel like I'm being watched, and I just got to be a little bit more careful. But anyways, on that note, guys, I'm going to leave you with some peace, love, and light from my heart to yours.
It is possible the first intent was theft, but the behavior points elsewhere. 3 separate approaches, no response when addressed, a car waiting nearby. They knew someone was inside, and they continued to return. Was this simply an interrupted robbery attempt, or something far more disturbing? What would you have done in her place? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you've had a similar experience, we want to hear it. This unsettling footage comes from a TikTok account called the Patagonian Walker. The date is April 13th, 2022. Alex, a cyclist who documents his outdoor journeys, is riding through the harsh, isolated landscape of Patagonia, recording his ride with a GoPro while following a little-used trail. As he moves along a quiet stretch of path, something in the distance catches his eye, an object hanging from a tree.
Mira, es hermoso este caminito para pasear, despejarse un poco. Mirá, esto sería el canal que lleva... Uy, un Doberman. Uy, un Doberman. Uy, un Doberman.
He slows and approaches, realizing it is not part of the natural scenery. Dangling at eye level is a motionless, human-shaped form positioned in a strange and deliberate way. The calm setting makes the discovery feel even more disturbing. Alex stops completely. From the sound of his breathing and the way the camera tilts, his uncertainty is obvious. It is the kind of sight that triggers caution, even though nothing else seems to be happening. The object does not look new, and there is no clear reason for it to be there. In such a remote place, the scene feels deliberate rather than accidental, almost directed at whoever might pass by. After the clip surfaced online, it led to many different interpretations. Some viewers believe it could be an old practice dummy or a mannequin placed there by hikers or cyclists as a prank. Others think it may have been set up as a warning or a way to discourage people from continuing down that route. More unsettling ideas followed. Was it meant as a signal? Was someone nearby observing him? In an area where phone service is unreliable and assistance is far away, any strange sign can feel far more threatening. On August 29th, 2020, Uncharted Travel recorded a night spent alone inside a deserted countryside house that felt less like an empty shell and more like a nightmare frozen in time. The host, Trent, entered a home still filled with the decaying traces of a family's life, soon realizing that certain truths were never meant to be revealed.
So finally just got inside here, and there's a lot more brush than I remember. And it looks like this is a nice photo of some ducks or something. Hello? Hello? There's a mouse that just moved under that box. It startled me. And there's, I think, a photo of the mother or one of the daughters. No stove, but the fridge is still here. I believe there's nothing inside. Please don't be smelly. Oh. Okay, that was a mistake. Looks like they had some ducks. Maybe they farmed them, I don't know. And then there's all these cassettes Gordon had that he recorded. But they have very obscure names. Found on Highway 55 or Found on Highway 56. I'm here, and I gotta be careful with my light because it looks right out onto the road. This looks like it was a photo of the two sisters. Oh, here's a photo of all four of them. It's probably one of the last photos ever taken. Or one of the few photos taken with all of them. It's sad to see that it looks like a little more destroyed than last time. This room always creeps me out. This was like their sunroom. They turned it into like a makeshift bedroom for someone. This looks like one of many photos Gordon had of animals he'd killed.
This is Thursday night. It's 7:31. I'm laying here in the alcove bed. I wonder, this is Red Party. I've got the homemade condenser microphone up my left ear. Okay, I'm Rick. Oh, it's Rick. Okay. No, I don't think anybody goes to another life when they die. It goes onto the brain. Goes various connections through wires. Cords draped around my earlobe.
Old projector slides. You can see this one's like, looks like it's of the moon. It's hard to see. That one looks like it's someone standing in the grass. As you can see, here's more of these collages that Gordon has made of animals he's killed and mutilated here. Very disturbing.
The mood changes as soon as he steps into the main rooms, where the abandoned belongings seem intentional and oppressive. Personal items and strange audio recordings lie scattered in the darkness, pointing toward a deeply unstable mindset. Along the walls, warped pictures and altered family photos suggest a past someone tried desperately to erase or reshape.
Something worth noting here, I noticed this my first time at this house, is this dresser would have been covered with books, but if you look behind it here, it's actually blocking an entrance to an unfinished attic. And on the other side of that attic, right there where you see that pink open door, that's actually a secluded kids' room. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to be sleeping tonight.
The most disturbing find is hidden behind a large wardrobe in the attic, a narrow space meant for confinement, and only from the outside. Even with the sinister meaning of this discovery, he chooses to remain there overnight.
Moving into the next room here. Oh wow, there's vintage clothing and dresses. Looks like whoever lived in this room was very into fashion. This TV. This Thompson advises. Man takes wife for granted. So maybe some old photos and like projector slides. It looks fairly empty, which is a disappointment.
As night falls, the house seems to stir. Sudden, frantic noises burst from the metal pipes, sharp movements reverberating through the structure.
Oh my god, there's something living in that pipe. You hear that? Oh my god. I was just packing up my headphones. The pipes just began to shake and... Alright. Let's get out of here. Back into my home sweet home. And I think with that, I can now call it a night. I don't know if it's just the storm, 'cause it's picked up a lot, I don't know if you can hear, but there's like a loud banging sound downstairs. I might have to go check it out. I don't know. It's really hard to sleep in this house. I keep hearing something running around out here. There's nothing, I don't know what it is. It sounds like it's scurrying. So it looks like I'm gonna have to close this door for tonight. I don't want raccoon visitors during the night. The outside lock is still working. I could lock myself in here and this house just doesn't want to give me that. The worst part about these alones is not actually going to these places and not like, I have no problem exploring the creepiest depths of each of these places. Like tunnels, no problem. Creepy basements, no problem. Oh my god, I keep getting woken up like you don't even understand. It's just like echoing off this chamber. Oh my god, you guys can't see this right now. Put my shoes on. This camera. hope that wasn't a person. Hello? Okay, so this was that bang you just heard. Do you know that shelf that was sitting right here that I pushed out of the way that was blocking the entrance to this attic? It just almost took a tumble down the stairs. And it scared the life out of me. How the hell did this thing fall? I thought I gave it enough space on the ledge where it wouldn't have...
The tension peaks when the huge wardrobe, the sole barrier to the exit, unexpectedly crashes down the stairs without any clear cause. In the end, the terror does not come from spirits, but from the signs of human fixation left behind in the stillness. It forces a troubling question. If no ghosts were there, why was a child-sized room concealed and locked from the outside? When a house is left behind, does the truth fade away, or do its secrets only grow louder? On June 11, 2023, Trent the Traveler recorded a disturbing solo camping journey along Colorado's Phantom Canyon Road. Formerly a 19th century rail line marked by mining tragedies and brutal labor conflicts, the route has become a quiet dirt road cut into towering cliffs. As night falls, the burden of its past turns the peaceful landscape into a passage of fear.
All right, I finally got a fire going. I was worried there for a minute because it started raining and I was worried we wouldn't be able to hang out outside. But thankfully, the rain let up and we're here on this beautiful... So, let's tell some ghost stories. In the 1800s, this area, or this road that we drove in on, used to be a railroad system that connected Florence and Cripple Creek, Colorado. And supposedly in the 1890s, passengers aboard the train were traveling through this canyon and they saw a man walking along the train tracks in prison attire. Supposedly looked like a man that was previously executed. Now, a lot of the people that ended up in the Colorado State Penitentiary down in Canyon City or the jail in Cripple Creek, and they found themselves getting locked up for many reasons like public intoxication, theft, or even murder, after a huge labor strike between the miners and the mine owners. These mining companies in this area wanted to increase the workdays without increasing the wages. And a lot of them walked off the job, leaving a lot of these mines to shut down. And that's when these mining companies started bringing in non-union workers to work in these mines so they could stay afloat, and that's when all hell broke loose. There were gunfights, train derailments, purposely collapsed mines with people in them. And at one point, 15 people were killed. Miners even bombed a train depot, killing 13 more non-union workers. But of course, it finally did eventually settle, but it's believed that this whole area between Canyon City, it's all incredibly haunted. And people that come here claim to see ghostly figures that look like prisoners or miners walking among this forest late at night. All by myself here in this forest. I thought I heard something moving over here. Freak, I'm on edge. Of course I am. I'm in a haunted forest, for crying out loud. I am going to put out this fire and go explore a little bit and see if we find or experience anything interesting. So let's go explore.
The tension starts with the grim awareness that he is effectively sleeping on burial ground, the location of an old act of sabotage that killed 15 miners. This oppressive mood is abruptly broken when a sharp noise bursts out of the darkness, instantly heightening his alertness as he remains by the fire. The mental strain reaches its height when Trent steps into a vast stone tunnel, where the canyon's deep silence is suddenly replaced by a sound with no clear cause.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna sit here for a bit and just soak this all in. I think this tunnel is really, really cool. I keep hearing stuff, but I'm like 98% sure it's just the bats making weird noises. You know, something I've been asking myself when doing research about this place, what is it about these old mining towns that makes them so haunted? I know it was the Wild West, so there were a lot of gunfights, a lot of violence. And maybe that's it. In the paranormal community, apparently quartzite, the mineral, holds a lot of paranormal energy. And buildings or towns or places that are built upon large quartzite nodes, and I'm not quite sure the science behind that or why, and that's got me wondering, like, now bear with me for a second. Maybe by digging into these mountains and mining all this ore, these tragic events or cause these people to do these bad things, and because there were a lot of like gruesome murders back then too. You know, I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me or not, but I definitely just heard singing, like distant singing. Okay, I know for a fact that the camera can't pick it up. It is so faint that I'm like struggling to hear it. The sounds bouncing off the tunnel walls or what, but it literally sounds like people singing.
In the cold, stale air, a soft, repeating melody drifts through the corridor, holding him still in the shadows. The unease follows him back to the van, making him overly aware of every distant movement. In the end, it leaves an unsettling thought. When daylight returns and every shape becomes clear, was there ever a true threat? Or did the night simply alter the way the world was heard? Have you ever sensed a place sharing its dark past through quietness? On January 16th, 2026, the YouTube channel Mark Travels, well known for its cinematic motorcycle journeys and thoughtful, introspective storytelling, recorded a ride through the rural interior of Japan. Traveling with his friends Chris and V, Mark moved through a setting of quiet towns and fog-laced mountains. It was a calm, reflective trip that seemed fully under control, until one short section of road showed how quickly confidence can fade. The smooth pace of the ride starts to break apart the moment they leave the mapped route and enter a dark, neglected slope.
Really gotta love Japan, eh? Wow. Haha. All right, let's do this. Yeah, you think? Well, we'll find out. Hey, let's try it. I should maybe change the mode into enduro. I think that's just suspension, right? Should be. It's probably a little bit softer. But yeah, street tires. No, but where is the road? I don't think it's a road here. Yeah, but it's very cool. Let's make a photo together. Is she scouting out the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to head back. Still worth it though. I knew it! I fucking knew it! Shit.
Even with Mark guiding the bike downward slowly and with precision, traction suddenly disappears, causing the motorcycle to fall in an instant, a quiet drop that happens too fast for reflex to prevent.
Sorry, bike. I knew it. I kinda fell. I saw it going down here, and then I should have stayed on this side. It had no chance, like, there was no way I could hold it. I guess I smashed up the pannier quite good. Okay, let's pick it up.
Rising without injury, Mark learns the cause was not poor handling, but a concealed weakness.
And that not really big damage. Well, One of my first like real falls, I guess. And that with the rental bike. But yeah, we'll be alright. We'll be fine.
Crash?
Yeah, I slipped there. I saw it happening because I noticed that it goes down here. It was on this side, and then just, yeah, with these tires, it's like, I'm okay. Luckily, I woke here. Yeah, like you can see here.
Wonder if we can find that lock.
There's a car coming now. Of course, now there's a car coming. There was no cars the whole time. We're back on the road. Thank God for these crash bars. I'll have to pay for the pannier for sure. But the rest seems fine. My first fall in Japan. I have to be so careful here. I had it again 2 times, like the front, where it's crazy.
This is the last road we'll be on like this, bro.
Yeah, no, it's no worries.
I feel so fucking bad. I'm like, fuck, he's never gonna want to come back.
That just happened.
Okay.
Don't stress, man.
I was super worried.
No, man.
Well, I'm a big brother too, you know?
Yeah,
Like
but that's
2 little
okay,
brothers.
man. You see these tires, guys? They're not good anymore. Yeah, I was already talking about it the whole time that these tires feel very slippery. I guess it's because they're very old. Compound gets hard. So yeah, might have not been entirely my fault.
The rental tire had become stiff and worn. A hidden countdown that finally failed on the slippery mountain surface. The threat was not recklessness. It was an unseen boundary built into the gear itself. Later, the seriousness of the road is emphasized when they pass an active crash investigation, where Japanese police carefully measure the pavement and treat the wreckage with the heavy formality of a crime scene. As evening arrives, a concealed waterfall brings back a sense of peace, but the message remains. Danger rarely comes from speed alone, but from the quiet meeting of worn equipment and the assumption of safety. It leaves us asking, when the road feels flawless, what signs are we overlooking? And is the forest's silence something to enjoy, or a disguise for hazards we fail to notice? That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.